strict observance. This comes from Albert Mackey, Encyclopedia of Freemasonry, page 1006. So in other words, according to their very own encyclopedia, Freemasonry and the Illuminati are one and the same organization, nothing separate. This is the history of Freemasonry, and if you look at the history of Freemasonry, immediately you see the main symbol of Freemasonry on the top, and whose symbol is that? It is the all-seeing eye, and where did we have it before? In the Jesuit order. Now, why would Freemasonry use the Jesuit order's main symbol as its symbol? Remember my little logo? If it what? Looks like a? Yeah, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck and it walks like a duck, it's a duck. Okay? Here are all the symbols of Freemasonry. Here you have the compass and the set square. If you look inside here, you have the pentagram with the pentagon in the middle. And here you have, again, this symbol. It can either be a set square or it can be the base of the circle, which is the same as the bottom of the scythe. Or, if you don't like the scythe, you can have it as the sickle. It's one and the same thing. And it was the weapon, or the one that Seb used, the god of death, to come and catch you, the god of death. It's also a sexual symbol, male and female. You have there, this is now the jewels of the Grand Officer of the Grand Lodge of England. You have over there the pigeon with the olive leaf in the mouth. And down there you have the horn of plenty. And we'll be dealing with some of these interesting issues. If we look at the Grand Lodge jewels of the Scottish Provincial Grand Lodge, again you find these same symbols. You have the horn of plenty down there again, the pentagram, the crossed swords, which we also found where? In Catholicism, against the windows. But this here is probably the main symbol by which Freemasonry is identified. Now we have to ask ourselves, who does it represent? Well, let's go to Buddhism and ask them. This is the temple drawing, or the cave drawing of the Prophet Mani, painted in Cave Temple 285, where you have two deities, Fuxi and Nuwa. That's the two aspects of the solar deity, the male-female aspect. And let's have a look over here what they say. Fuxi and Nuwa, the sun and moon deities. In Chinese mythology, Fuxi holds the carpenter's square, there it is, and Nuwa, the compass. So, the compass and the set square stands for whom? Stands for the two deities, the male and the female aspect. It's Isis and Osiris, or Horus, whichever way you like. Now, how much is Roman Catholicism associated with Freemasonry? Roman Catholicism is Freemasonry, in just another garb. They control it, they run the world through their secret societies. Nobody will ever suspect them. They are the mafia. The mafia is part of Freemasonry. They're one and the same. They are in control of all these organizations. It's very nice. If you're a mafioso, you kill a couple of people, you go to whom? The Roman Catholic Church. You go down on your knees, you're forgiven, off you go and kill some more. All for the sake of money, church, what have you. This cathedral over here was being repaired while I was there, so I was interested to see who the builder was. So I went and looked up his board, and was rather pleased to find him so blatantly telling me who he was. There it is, Eich Builders, with the Freemason sign out there. Grand Lodge of England, Grand Officer's clothing, there you have another Masonic apron. Notice that the apron has the M in it, which is the sigma on its side, which is the six, which is also the symbol of the 12, which surround the one who is Lucifer. And there you have the symbols of the pentagram and all these pins and things around their neck. The olive branch again and all the others that are associated. This one here is important. That is the Tau. The mystic Tau is the symbol of Titan or Lucifer. So we have to find out exactly what these feathers, what these symbols mean. These crossed feathers make the X, just like the crossed keys, and they are symbols of access to heaven or to hell. If we look a little bit closer, we'll find the sun and the moon depicted on them. And over here, we have the crossed swords again. This one is interesting. The all-seeing eye, the pentagram again, the Tau, the plumb line. And this one is fascinating. This is the Grand Officer's Jewels of the Grand Lodge of Scotland. And you will see it over there. And by the way, the hammer and the sickle are Freemason symbols. Now, who has the hammer and had the hammer and the sickle as its main symbol? Russia. Okay, we'll be interested to know what its new symbol is. Fascinating. Both the old and the new Freemason symbols. Now here you have this slightly enlarged. You have this deity person at the back there, representing the sun deity. You have the X, which is the broken cross, if you like, the bent cross. And then you have the ordinary Christian cross over there, but what do you see about this one? It's upside down, symbol of victory of Lucifer over Christ. There again you have the symbol of the sun and the moon and the stars. So all the symbols, these are the badges of the leading lodges of Belgium. All the symbols that we find are the same as those which we can find in Catholicism, which we can find in the Jesuit order. The one is derived from the other. Now the belief is that man is divine, he's subject only to himself, only to his own law. Do what thou wilt is the whole of the law. And there is a divine man in the white form and in the dark form, and it doesn't matter whether you are in the Adam Kadmon, the new Adam, the deistic Adam, this one over here, or whether you are in the female form or the goat of Mendes, the Luciferian form. Both of them are equally acceptable. Now these are the tracing boards that you will find. Remember, again, in Freemasonry, you have the sun, the moon, and the stars, which you find in the Catholic cathedrals as well. It is Catholicism, nothing else. Then you have the east, the south, the west, the north. The north is always in darkness, 3 candles always. The north is in darkness because the throne of God is in darkness. Adonai is the God of darkness, so Jesus is bad news to them. And these symbols of Freemasonry, like the anchor and all these others, the stairway to the dog star, Sirius in the east, the shining one, Lucifer, the phoenix. The 2 pillars are supposedly the pillars of Solomon, Sol, On, Sol, On, the 3 languages, Latin and the Eastern languages and Egyptian, representing the name of the sun god. The G stands for Grand Architect of the Universe. It stands for geometry. It stands for other things as well, not such kosher things. Now let's ask this ex-Mason over here, who was on the television, what he has to say. They're very careful on television. I'll be a little less careful.
Understand, in the order of Freemasonry, through the many, many degrees, there is an item called a tracing board. It is a living history. It is a pictorial understanding and explanation of the order. Let us start in the very first degree with the first degree tracing board. If one looks at it, it looks innocuous and quite harmless. It looks something out of the pages of ancient Babylon, out of ancient Bible teachings. In the top right-hand corner, there is a picture of the moon and the stars and the sun. It looks totally innocuous. There's 1 moon and 7 stars. To explain the occultic significance to that, one has to study into the order of witchcraft, and by interconnecting the stars that surround that moon, the perfectness of the hexagram is procured in symbolic form. The hexagram, of course, is the most potent hex sign in witchcraft and in Satanism today. The deception of the order is exceedingly deep. These are things that are never taught to the everyday Mason who would enter from left to right. Understand the order of Freemasonry through the many, many degrees.
serpents encircling rings and globes and issuing from globes. So you have pillars. The pillar is a symbol of the deities, and you have a broken pillar as well, which is a symbol of Osiris who was damaged. You have also the symbol of the serpent with his tail in his mouth. That is the prototype of the universal Savior. It makes the perfect circle, and because his tail is in his mouth, there is no beginning and no end to him, and he is a symbol of Lucifer. He's the one who gives life. That's why the baby, the child, and he's the one who takes care of you after death, therefore the skull as well. So he's both the light and the dark, the life and the death. And this quote down here, this good and evil quote, comes from Manly Hall, 33-degree Freemasons, Secret Teachings of All Ages, the Philosophical Research Society Press. Every single thing I say will be documented, that nobody can say, he said it. Here you have the circle with a triangle and man in it. It is far more important that men should strive to become Christs than that they should believe that Jesus was Christ. This is J.D. Buck, Mystic Masonry, Illinois, Indo-American Book Company, as the Masonic quote. So, let's get back to our Bible. Is this, if we go to Genesis, is this the serpent language or is this God's language? This is the serpent speaking. So we have serpent ideology. Then you have the double-headed phoenix or eagle. This is the one of the 33rd degree. You get it also of the 32nd degree. Here it says Deus Mincurius, which means God and my right. And there are two heads. They'll tell you all kinds of stories that you have to look forward and backward and this and that and the other. No, no, no. Janus was the two-headed one. This is the symbol of the solar deity. Just like there were two keys, so there are two aspects to this deity, irrespective of what they tell you. These are the Masonic secret symbols. And if we look at them, we'll find some fascinating ones. That one is very prominent. There's the fish. That one over there. Let's enlarge some of them a little bit. Over here, we have another little video talking about them. Let's have this man tell us. He's also an ex-Mason.
I would say, take a good look at the signs and symbols. If they can't decipher these signs and symbols themselves, get somebody who knows the true meaning. Have a good, hard look at the order. Look into the signs, the symbols, the tokens, the rituals, the charges. Do a bit of investigative work into the order. See where those charges and rituals and where those signs hail from. You will find that they are not Christian of origin, but they are Egyptian of origin and referred back to a process of Isis and Osiris, the worship of the sun god Ra, Satan himself.
Those very symbols that we saw there, we saw them in the Catholic Church. In the cathedral, I showed them to you on the door, some of them. Here are some of the pagan religious symbols. This was the symbol of Athene. This was the symbol of Isis. This was the symbol of Hermes. I showed it to you where? In the Jesuit cathedral in the south of Germany. Ceres, this one over here, has got nothing to do with the Star of David. This is the hexagram, which is the age-old symbol. I showed it to you already before. I'll show it to you again. It comes all the way from the ancient cultures in Babylon. We'll find it in the Hittite cultures long before there was a Jewish nation. This is a symbol that is associated with witchcraft. And the earth symbols, the male and the female, this is Juno's symbol, Jupiter, Mars, Mercury, Venus, Uranus, the sun goddess, notice the circle with a dot in it, Saturn, Neptune, all of these symbols you will find in Roman Catholic cathedrals. The hexagram, this one over here, well, if you have a nice car, like I have one of these, you can put that on the front of your car and put a circle around it, and then you'll have a nice symbol over there. If you look at that one over there, and you put that one into the middle of a flag, which country do you have? Then you have Great Britain. And if you look at these, those were on the Alice A. Bailey books. These are Freemason secret symbols. There's the hexagram. That one we've seen very often in New Age. And this one's very interesting. Do you recognize that one? Yes, so you get them left way around, you get them right way around. It makes no difference. The one's the male, female. That's all it is. The one